Alright guys, so today I'm going to be reviewing the Sontronics Podcast Pro, so let's get into the video. Alright guys, Neil from Neil Collins Recording. Welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back to my channel if you're not. Either way, appreciate you watching this video. So the good people at Sontronics have sent me the Podcaster Pro to review for you guys, so that's what I'm going to do. So first things first, let's go through a few of the specs. Dimensions wise, it's 180 by 82 by 60 millimeters. So it's a nice size, not too big, not too small, just a nice size for a podcast microphone. Weight wise, it's 310 grams, so it's really light. So it's a really lightweight microphone, still really nicely made, still all metallic, but it's just not super heavy, down to reasons that I'm going to go through in a minute. Also, it comes in 7 different colours. It comes in black, grey, red, blue, green, golden and red. So whatever you're branding, then there's a colour there that will probably suit your podcast. The only problem with that is it's really difficult to choose a colour. So I was going to get red, now I've settled on grey, then there was black, and it's a difficult choice. Believe me, it's a difficult choice to make, but it's nice to have that choice. These microphones are all handmade in the UK, which is brilliant. I review a lot of microphones from overseas, which is fine, but a lot of them are factory made and mass produced. These are all handmade in the UK, so that's a win for me for a start. Now, it's a supercardioid microphone. It's not a condenser microphone. A lot of the podcast microphones I review are condenser microphones. This is a supercardioid microphone. So what does that mean? It means that there's hardly any electrics in the body itself, which means less electrical noise, less hiss, less static, less noise in general from the microphone. Now, it does mean it has slightly less frequency range. It's 50 Hz to 15,000 Hz, but that's really not an issue with vocals, I think. With the condenser microphones that go up to 20,000 Hz, 22,000 Hz, it does introduce a bit of air to your recordings, which can add something to your vocal, but for podcasts and things like that, I don't think it's particularly necessary or needed. I'd much rather eliminate as much noise as possible, which is what this does by not being a condenser. What else does that mean? It means it just picks up audio from the front, should be reflected off the sides and back. It's just picking up audio from the front. What it also means is you don't need phantom power for this microphone. Now, obviously, you still need to plug it into your Mac or PC to get noise, but you can either plug it in through an XLR to an audio interface into your Mac or PC, or you can use this cable that I'm using, which is the Sontronics XLR to USB cable. That enables you to just plug it straight into your Mac or PC without needing an audio interface, so that's pretty good. This cable you can get for $19.99 on Amazon, so it's not stupidly expensive, and it makes things even simpler, so you can just plug straight into your Mac or PC, XLR to USB, or you can go XLR audio interface into the Mac if you want a little bit more control on the gain. So this microphone also has a built-in notch around 5 to 8K to eliminate sibilance, or as much of it as it can, so any that sort of thing, sibilance. Then this microphone has a notch already built in that should get rid for a lot of the need for de-essers in post-production. Everything about this is designed to get the best audio quality straight out of the microphone, so you don't have to worry too much in post-production. That's what this microphone is built for. It doesn't need a pop shield, that's all built in for plosives. The way the mic's designed should get rid of all the plosives as well as the sibilance. The whole design of this microphone is designed to get rid of all the nastiness coming from your voice, give you a nice natural, nice sounding output. Now, because the microphone's so light, it makes it great to use with these microphone boom arms. This is the Sontronics Elevate mic boom arm. Did a review on it here. I'll leave a link in the description below to that as well. A really reasonably priced mic boom arm. Again, quite lightweight, so that with the microphone makes a really nice setup. Lightweight, relatively inexpensive, and very professional looking. So let's just do a few tests on this together. So I'm going to put my headphones on for this. Okay, headphones on. So, first things first, with this type of microphone, if you want to get more body from your vocal, then you will be as close as you can to the microphone. This is how a lot of podcasters do their podcasts for obvious reasons. The audio sounds great, but you can still see my face, or most of it. It's just how you get the optimal audio is by being a bit closer. The further you get away, the thinner the vocal tends to get. Now, you can compensate for that by turning the gain up a little. So let me just do that now. So now I've turned the gain up and I'm a bit further away. And as you can hear, it hasn't really introduced that much noise at all. Apologies if my voice goes a bit off, but it's because I'm getting a very slight delay. It sounds like I'm a bit drunk. I'm not. I've raised the gain and it hasn't really introduced much noise at all. We're just quiet. Still hardly any noise. And I've got plenty of gain, enough that I can be about that far from the microphone and it still sound really decent. So really impressed with that. I'm just going to go around the microphone so we can test out the rejection. So this is from the side. This is from the back. This is from the side. And this is from the front again. So just so you get an idea of the sort of room that I'm recording in, it's not treated. There's a window there. There's no audio foam on any of the walls. The audio you're hearing now is from my camera, so you can hear that this room really isn't the best for recording audio. But even so, I think it's doing a great job. It's picking me up and it's eliminating most of the noise. And that's the great thing about a supercardioid microphone. Because you haven't got to crank up all the electrics and introduce noise, which is what condenser microphones, or at least budget to mid-range condenser microphones, tend to add loads of noise when you whack the gain up, just because you're bringing on that high-end hissing. But with this and rolling off at 15,000 hertz, you don't get any of that. So like I say, I've put the gain up a fair bit and it's not really introduced any noise at all. Really directional, nice sounding audio whilst rejecting all the other noise in the room. So the room that you're in, even if it's not particularly treated, if you've got these microphones, it's not going to pick up a lot of the echo. It's still going to sound really decent. So ideal for podcasts, especially if you're on the move and you're moving your podcast around. I would choose these over condenser microphones, I think, for podcasts. Now, although I've done a lot of review of podcast mics and they've been condenser microphones, I do favour the cardioid microphones over the condensers, just for the reasons I've given. I've used SM58 for vocal audio before and it sounds great. I think condenser microphones just introduce a bit too much of the room, but you don't get that issue with this microphone. Now, another thing to consider if you're choosing a microphone for podcasting is, although you might know how to use a microphone, often a lot of guests that you have on might not have used a microphone before or aren't very good at controlling their voice. With these ones, it's much easier to avoid clipping because you don't have to have the gain cranked up quite so much. You can always raise the gain after in post without introducing too much noise. Price-wise, a Podcast Pro comes in at £99, which I think is great value for money. I know it's not a condenser microphone and it hasn't got any electrics inside the body itself. Just the build quality, and they're all individually made, like I say, all individually made in the UK. Just the way it's designed to get rid of all the pops and clicks and sibilants. The whole point of this microphone is to eliminate a lot of the work in post-production. Decent vocal audio out of the microphone, so you don't need to do hardly any EQing or anything like that in post. Now, if you're wanting to record instruments and things like that, this probably isn't the microphone for you, but if you look at the Sontronics range, they have a whole array of microphones that would deal with things like that much better. Now, you could record an instrument with this and it would sound fine, but it's not really designed for that. It's designed as a podcast microphone to record vocal audio. And there are other microphones that are designed primarily for instruments that will work much better in those situations. But as a podcast microphone, I think this is great. So overall, I'm really impressed. I love this microphone. I think it looks great. And if you couple it up with the Elevate arm, I think you've got a really slick little podcast set up there. Relatively inexpensive, like a £99 microphone. You get 3 or 4 and it's not really going to break the bank. They look great, different colours. The whole design, the way it's built for vocal audio. I just like everything about it. And it sounds great, and that's the main thing. So thanks to the guys at Sontronics for sending me the Podcast Pro to review. I'm definitely going to get some use out of it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Podcast Pro. If you've got one, or if you're thinking of getting one, let me know. If you're not already, please do consider subscribing to my channel. Releasing content on a Monday and Thursday at the moment. Audio and visual gear reviews, drone tutorials, editing tutorials, Just started an After Effects course that might be useful to some of you. It'd be great to have some new faces on board. If you are already subscribed, appreciate you guys as always. Just make sure that notification bell's switched on so I can let you know when new content comes out. But that's it for this one. I'm going to catch you in the next one.